What's up everyone, it's Magic here, and today I have something really interesting for you. I have behind the scenes from the engagement shoot in Tokyo, Japan. So you're gonna see me shooting A7RV with a 35mm f1.4 G Master and a Sirui Anamorphic for portraits, which is insane. You're gonna see some behind the scenes, my commentary, and then on top of that there's footage from my recorder, so you actually see what I see and what photos that I came up with. And that's not all. I also gonna create the blog post. So this blog post link is in the description, so you can actually start by watching my blog post and looking at the photos. And this blog post is a preview of a PicTime Blogs, which is a new tool for wedding photographers to blog their photos easily from the gallery by my sponsor, PicTime. I'm gonna walk you through that also because blogging is extremely important if you wanna book weddings. Okay, so let's go to Tokyo.
Okay, so the way I like to start these shoots, I ask them to face me, like a literally first photo, because we don't know each other yet. We just met a couple minutes ago. So start by facing me and then walking towards me and looking at each other. And this just gives me like my first kind of shots to see where we're at, how they look when they're looking at each other. And actually I was really surprised how, happy they are, by simply looking at each other. And the 35mm 1.4, I like to frame it this way that you can see in this image that it gives me nice background blur. And as they're walking towards me, I'm gonna try to use this moment to take more different photos. So I'm gonna move around. Maybe I'll rotate a bit. So I'm gonna get this side photo, ask her to look at him, to look at each other. And I got away with this picture, which I really, really like. The next moment was, so again, I have no light here. It was overcast. It was quite gray, I would say. So I was looking for the colors. So here, orange tree this time. So as you can see, me trying to frame this the way from the bottom, slightly from the bottom, so I can get this nice background blur. And also I'm looking for the right distance between me and them. So you can see two distances here, the closer photo and the farther away photo, but both kind of with the emphasis on the orange tree. Then I walked even closer to them and just chat with them a little bit to create some smiles and some happy emotions between them. And then in the next photo, I decided to use this first McDonald's.
What you see behind me is actually the first McDonald's in the world.
At least according to my local guide, Taylor. So also here, I'm trying the second pose, which is him holding her from the back and kind of looking and leaning towards each other. So I get to see, okay, will this pose work for them or not? And it works for them beautifully. So I'm looking for the frame that I want. And again, I kind of went slightly lower, and from the lower end, I shot this one photo that I really like the composition. So after a couple of shots with the 35 G Master, I decided to switch things to 35 Sirui Anamorphic. So now I don't have autofocus anymore. I only have a manual focus. Also, I have to desqueeze the image. So here I'm looking already at the desqueeze image. So I'm zooming in order to get the focus manually, which is quite difficult. So I'm trying the poses that we just did. So holding her from the back pose. This photo, by the way, all of them edited with my Magic Cadabra presets, and purchase if you want. And then we moved to one of my favorite spots that I kind of saw beforehand. So I get this colorful trees in a background and this nice kind of alley with the buildings on the left, on the right. I have people walking in the background. So I started with this photo from the side, which I really like. I think these two photos are my favorite ones from this moment. But what I really wanted was this kind of Wes Anderson style photo right in the middle, leading lines from that road. So as soon as people were gone, I positioned them facing me, holding hands, straight legs, and then looking at each other. And it's a beautiful shot. I love everything about this photo, thanks to these anamorphic lenses as well, giving me that panoramic view. So looking at me and looking at each other, two different photos from the same kind of moment. And then I tried again the same photo in a couple different locations. At first I had this idea of a series that I would have them standing like this in a multiple different kind of Japanese style backgrounds. But this was actually only second photo that I shot at kind of this way. And again, as I have a couple already, in a pose, I'm gonna try to move around and find a different composition, because it's simpler for me to move around and just get many various shots from the same moment than keep changing their position. So this is the second photo that I really liked from this little moment here. And again, because I was kind of bored of them walking or standing, I decided to sit them down. I needed to kind of, get rid of these people, so I framed it the way so there are no people in the frame. And then we tried to exit the Ueno Park, and we had this beautiful orange kind of installation. So I also envisioned this photo a couple of moments before. When I saw it, I knew it's gonna work really well with this anamorphic panoramic photo. So I asked them to look at each other, get close to each other, so I have like this slight emotions between them happening, and bam, this is the final photo. I really like it. And then I moved back to a 35G Master because I needed autofocus. I felt that I have not enough photos in motion, so when we exit the park, I asked them to kind of run towards me on the lights, so I get this series of photos that I turned in black and white that I really liked from their walking. And you can see that now they're walking differently from the first photos that I took with them just like hour before, because now they're more relaxed. That we've been shooting for an hour, they're more comfortable in front of the camera, so I'm kind of repeating the same poses and the same moments with them after an hour of a shoot, because I know they're relaxed more. And then I went for a single portrait back with anamorphic lens, 2 anamorphic portraits. I was playing around with the composition, but I ended up liking the central composition the most. And then I took the same photo of Koichi as well. So I wanted to have just single portraits of both of them with this panoramic view, and I'm really happy with the results. And then while walking, these little streets, I found this nice doors, and there were a lot of bikes coming through and people walking, so I positioned them slightly to the side. I didn't want them at the center, and I was waiting for a good moment to have someone walking by or driving by, and I was actually really lucky because I had this lady, I think, driving on a bike and looking at them, and this was the money shot. I'm really happy with the composition, that they're slightly on the right side, not in the center, and she's on the left side of the frame, which created the perfect framing, in my opinion, for that photo.
All right, photos are ready, so now let's blog these. Since I already made the gallery for the clients, the photos are already uploaded to my PicTime. So the PicTime blogs is the feature that is coming. It is a beta. I have a special access just to show you how it works. So again, since the photos are already in the gallery, it's gonna take me just a couple minutes to get them on my blog. Let's do it. So what I need to do first is just create a blog and choose the template for the blog. You can actually change it later on. I'll show you how, but basically you start from some layout and it's gonna just auto-populate the images. I'm gonna start with a full, because I have this panoramic anamorphic photos and I think they're gonna look better, not cropped, so full width. So I'm gonna start with that. And then the next step is to choose your images. With the wedding images, I would already have selected some highlights for slideshow and stuff, so I would probably use already chosen photos. For a session like this, where I don't create a special slideshow or anything like that, I'm just gonna choose them individually. So as you can see, I'm gonna start with some scene setting photos and then just gonna grab a couple of various different photos, so the whole blog is not super boring. My goal is to maybe do like a 30-ish photos in that blog. So bam, this is how it works. This is it. On the left, you can see, the preview of your kind of pages. So it does, divide the blog into these sections, pages, and then you can change this section individually. So here I'm just gonna speed that up so you can see how I'm playing with this, so you can kind of understand my workflow with this and how I'm gonna go with this blog. Okay, the next step is gonna be slightly technical, so you have to actually publish this blog post. You can either integrate it to your website, so if you have like WordPress website as I do, or do you have Squarespace or other type of website that will just take a code, you just copy and paste the code that is here to your website and bam, it's done. This is how I did this. And if you want, you can just have a link. You can have a link and just send a link to someone and have it published on like your PicTime gallery, let's say. The fun part is that you can see I integrated it to my education website, which has this specific colors of the background and the font, so it doesn't fit being this kind of generic white-ish PicTime one. So I went back to my PicTime blog, and as you can see, you can just change a color palette here, and what I did is create my own color palette with my colors. So now I'm just gonna apply this, and now you can see it just fits my website perfectly. So make sure check out the link in the description just to see the blog post. Let me know if you like the layout, if you like the blog post, and if you do use PicTime already, you will get this feature very, very soon. If you don't, use code MAGIC, link is in the description to sign up for a free account and just play around with it. I hope you enjoyed this session from Tokyo. I see you guys in the next video. Ciao.